Hello, Divine Feminine. Welcome, welcome. Today, we're going to dive in and talk about everything you need to be doing to elevate your wellness as a woman, especially if you're over 30. Hello, my name is Lindsay Christian. I am your Psycho Harmony coach, and I focus on helping women to balance hormones, cycles, and chakras to give us a holistic experience when it comes to taking care of our bodies as a woman. A lot of the things I'm going to share with you are going to be mindset related because that's where it all starts. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, the first thing that we want to start doing when it comes to elevating our wellness as a woman is investing in ourselves on a deeper level, investing on the inside. It's so easy to invest on the outside, whether it's our skin, our hair, our teeth, our features, our bodies, our clothes, and all of this. When it comes to investing in ourselves internally, this can be a lot harder because we don't always see the changes. And we love results, right? We want to see the change. We want to see the result or the outcome or the effort from putting money in, right? When we're investing. But when we take the time to understand more coming from investment mentality and thinking more long term, that's when a lot of things actually become a lot cheaper for you, to be honest. It is so easy to run into so many traps because when we're educated, that's when so many illusions and, things that people are telling you are going to work, we understand if they will work or if they don't work. So we don't waste our money. And if you have this product that's telling you you're going to feel amazing, you just take this one thing, they got you, right? But if we understand from a deep connected perspective of how everything works, we will not run into these traps. And to be honest, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So it's really hard to try to get clarity and understand what's going on when you've got an overload of information coming at you. And we're trying to learn on social media and little posts that we get these little tips on or whatever, and it's all incomplete information. We don't want to rely on incomplete information as whole information. On top of that, when it comes to investing in yourself internally, investing in the right foods. Listen, do not get me wrong. It is expensive right now to get groceries, but it makes it a whole lot easier when we know what our bodies need, because when we don't get what our body needs, we're going to feel sick. We're going to feel all of these awful symptoms when we're not investing in our nutrition. Well, we're not going to sit in pain. So we're going to spend more money going out on other things to try to fix all these symptoms that we're having. But if we can just get down to the root cause and understand what we need nutrition-wise, we'll find that it's actually not that expensive. The next thing we want to do when it comes to elevating ourselves as a woman, when it comes to wellness, is honoring and accepting our cyclical nature. Now, I understand that this is hard to do when we don't live in a cyclical type of world, right? Everything is based on really how men operate, which is going to be on a more 24-hour cycle, sun up, sun down, which makes sense, right? We can't build a system, we can't build organization on our cyclical nature because we're not all on the same cycle either. However, we have to acknowledge that we are cyclical. When it comes to embracing your cyclical nature, just taking the time to honor, hey, you know what? I'm in this phase where my body needs more rest. So many of us don't do that. In fact, we will have that little voice in our head that will talk down on us. We'll say, oh, you're lazy, get out of bed, get back to work. It's all of that very masculine energy of get up, let's do it. No excuses. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And there's a time for rest. And thankfully, we have that rest time built into our cycle. How amazing. Thank you, Lord. But not just that, right? If we don't take advantage of the times when our energy is higher, or take advantage of those times where we need to release those negative emotions or let go of the things that are really not supporting us holistically, we're going to miss out on a lot of things. And I know it's hard, especially when you work. Not every woman has the luxury of just resting and taking care of herself. But if you can just find at least an hour out of each phase, we'll start to feel a whole lot better. The next thing that we need to start doing when it comes to elevating our wellness as a woman is going to be accountability and tracking. Okay. What you can't measure can't be changed. And for us ladies especially, I mean, we're already going through different phases and our mood is shifting. Do you think you're going to remember every little thing that happened every single day that is affecting you and impacting you? No. But once you hit that time again, when you start to experience those symptoms and you're not seeing results and you're super frustrated and you don't know why, that's where tracking comes in. And I want us to take a new approach when it comes to tracking. We want to do perfect. We want to just get it right every time. So we want to actually create a little ritual around this reflection time. Rather, it's journaling. At least you have some kind of record. If you just at least journal what happened that day, what was going on. The women that take the time to reflect, to slow down, to check in with themselves, to build that sense of awareness, are the types of women that get results. When we are not super in tune with ourselves, it's really hard for us to figure out what we really want on that deep level. And we can just keep going around in circles and aimlessly moving around in life. Who has time for that? I don't, and you don't either. So even if it's not tracking your whole day, check in with yourself. Ask, what do you need? And go as deep as you can until you find the root of exactly what you need. The next thing to elevate your wellness as a woman is going to be to prioritize safety. Prioritizing safety in your body, in your mind, in your emotions. And guess what? Your body does not know the difference. It doesn't have context as to what is creating this feeling of unsafety in your body. And the body's like, I don't know what's going on, but fire it up, right? Release the cortisol. It doesn't say, oh, she's looking at that social media post. Even though she's stressed out, it's really not a big deal. She'll be okay. Like, it's not going to do that. You have to do that. In your environment, how are you feeling when it comes to safety? Do you feel unsafe in your relationships and your connections? How are you feeling when it comes to safety in your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself physically and internally and mentally and emotionally? There's so many emotional wounds and traumas and limiting beliefs and doubts and frustrations that we have carried since we were children. And when our bodies don't feel safe, that impacts our cycle experience. It affects your hormones. It affects everything. And while we're sitting here, feeling frustrated about, oh, this hormone's out of whack, this is out of balance, I'm trying to do all this stuff, I'm taking all these pills, I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to do that. We got to slow down. And we've got to just connect with ourselves and to say, you know what? It's going to be okay. And whatever it is that is creating that feeling of unsafety, we need to set some boundaries around that, even if it's within ourselves. Our negative self-talk that can be impacting us, our own mental voice, right? That devilish energy that creeps in and tries to throw you off before you start making that change and releasing yourself from that bondage. When I say boundaries, That doesn't mean we have to discipline ourselves, to be rough with ourselves, to be harsh or anything like that. We can be super loving and gentle and kind with ourselves, but recognizing that, hey, listen, I have my best interest at heart. And sometimes we even have to ask ourselves that, do you have your best interest at heart, truly and honestly? Or are you running on repeat of what other people have said to you? And are you just transferring that energy back into your body over and over again? When it comes to setting boundaries with other people, that could be another challenge, especially if you feel like you haven't built your communication skills up, if you feel like as soon as you go to say, no, I don't want to do this, you feel guilty, right? That's something that we have to work on, and that's going to take practice. Creating a schedule is a huge way of setting boundaries and sticking to that schedule. If you say, hey, I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock, and if somebody calls you at 8:58, you're getting off the phone at 9 o'clock or you're turning the phone off. So not bending and adjusting because we feel this feeling of guilt. This has a lot to do with what is called our heart chakra. And a lot of women struggle to have a balanced heart chakra, to not overgive of themselves, to not over empathize, to, not be closed off either, but to be balanced and to say, hey, look, you have things you need, I have things I need too. And we can respect each other in that connection. But I'm not going to compromise and sabotage and lose myself for your gain. Of course, there's sacrifice and deeper intimate connections because you love the person, but not when it comes to sacrificing these 4 core things: your health, your connection to yourself and to a higher power, and your connection to those you love. As long as we're not abandoning these 4 things, we're okay. And the last thing that I want to share with you when it comes to elevating your wellness as a woman is going to be paying attention to any limiting beliefs when it comes to wellness, which is very, very common, right? People talk about limiting beliefs all the time. Oh, believe you can make enough money, believe you can have the love of your life. But when it comes to health, I feel like this is going to be the strongest because it's such a physical experience. Let's say you have something that runs in your family. You've seen your mom go through it, your grandma go through it, maybe even your dad, whoever. You've seen other people in your family go through certain things that you are experiencing. Well, number one, family is going to be the biggest factor when it comes to building our belief system. Number two, if you have your doctor that tells you, hey, this is your diagnosis, this is what's wrong with you, and there's nothing you could do about it, right? Sometimes we just accept that. We just accept it as this is what it is. And we can block ourselves from believing we can do anything different. Here's one example. When it comes to limiting beliefs that I had for a long time, I believed that when it comes to cramping during my menstrual phase, I just thought that it was always going to be severe. I thought that was normal. I thought that was what it was supposed to be because, well, your body is going through this cramping experience because that's what comes with it. When I learned that there's nutrients, there's outside environmental factors actually intensify or reduce cramping. Somebody could tell me that all day long, but until I apply it to myself, I'm not going to believe anything differently. But when I did, my mind was blown that I could be pain-free. I just kept waiting and waiting like, okay, any minute now, it's going to get worse. It's going to amp up. And it didn't. So that is why I am dedicated to helping women like you feel better, feel free in their bodies, and to feel the true benefits of how we're actually designed to be. Thank yourself so much for tuning in and taking care of yourself and showing up today. And thank you for tuning in to Divine Feminine Wellness.